Chase Lehocky here. Blue Futon out of the theaters is Amsterdam. Have you ever visited Amsterdam? I have. I mean, it wasn't too bad, except those people on the bikes. They're mean. Those mofos are mean. So Amsterdam, what's about the very simple premise, actually. I think we're in 1933, and we have a nurse, we have a doctor, and we have a lawyer who has a pact that are best friends. Where's the triangle? There's the triangle. And now, who died? Who else is dying? Who can help them figure out this murder mystery? Who done it? Interesting camera angles, interesting script, a buttload of actors. Did I like this film? I thought it was a well-made, well-crafted movie. And I kept saying it's like a fly on the wall movie. I might have been incorrect saying that. I think it's more of you're the fourth wheel when in these conversations, because you're literally, they are staring at the camera and you're staring back at them. So you're like, oh, I'm having a one-on-one conversation with them. And I think that's fun to do it with this movie. However, there are some nitpicks about this movie. Like, yeah, that could have been changed completely. But with that, I'll give the positives of the movie. I think this story is unique and a little bit fresh. I did some research, and yeah, a lot of this stuff is actually true. Unlike other movies out there, I'm not going to say it anymore. We're in the past. That's the past. We're in the future, and we're going to discuss this one. It's pretty solid with what was trying to do with Mussolini, with Hitler, with all these other companies / big businesses / organizations trying to get these dictators to control other parts of the government without elections and everything like that. And I think telling that story is pretty smart and unique for this style of day and age. Camera. Like I said, I like the camera segmentography. It looks like you're staring at the people talking to them. You're part of the group. You're part of the convo. You're like, I have something to interject, but you don't, because it's Christian Bale on the screen. It's John David Washington. It's Margot Robbie. It's Michael Shannon. It's Mike Myers. It's Rami Malek. It's Anya Taylor-Joy. It's Robert De Niro. There's a lot of people on screen. Zoe Saldana. And that can also be a positive and negative because there's so many actors in this film. Unfortunately, it feels like a lot of them are just cameos to be like, oh, she is the mortician and she has a little bit of a love triangle, but we're not going to flesh her out that much because she's kind of just a side character. And that could be like a positive and negative, having all these good actors, but then kind of not utilizing them for the best of their abilities. But I do think this is a smart, unique, adult, soft R movie. This is a very, very soft R. There were 0 F words. There's a couple bastards. I think 1 bitch. And I think maybe 1 or 2 shits by Chris Rock. But other than that, yeah, there's a little bit of gore when it comes to war injuries. But other than that, I mean, it is a very, very soft R-rated movie. And this movie is for adults. Anyone under 18, I think is not going to care about this movie. So you could say that the audience will be a little bit, I want to say divisive. Well, it's going to be divisive because of the whole David O. Russell, like 3 Kings, American Hustle. And some people are going to like his films. Some people don't. I kind of enjoy his films and what he does. And I know some people are like, oh, what he does behind the camera and his actions. It's like, I got to put a black eye. So I guess every Harvey Weinstein movie now, which he has produced like multiple ones, you're just going to ignore because he put money towards it. No, it doesn't work that way. It's part of the past. It is what it is. It's all about love. And this movie is also the theme of love. I don't know why, but I'm watching a lot of movies where throughout the hate, bring the love. Throughout the hate, bring the love. And I like that message as a whole. But this is a 2-hour and 15-minute movie. I do think they probably could have taken 15 minutes out of it. There's some weird scenes like sand dance, other dancing sequences, and just relationship with John David Washington and Margot Robbie. There are some weird just editing choices where you're like, okay, we can snip 15 seconds here, a minute here. So I think the editing and pacing is the biggest issue of the film because you're just like, wait a minute, what does this honestly have to do with this whodunit story? I understand you want to have a little bit more character dynamic and character interactions, but what does that actually do to enhance the story or push the story forward? And unfortunately, there are some scenes where you're like, that doesn't push the story, that doesn't push the story, and I understand what you're doing there, but it just doesn't work at all. And some of the dialogue is a little kooky and a little bit like, I don't know what you're trying to say here. I know you're trying to be very vague, but I feel like a little bit more detail in some scenes for being a true story is needed to be like a little bit more down and dirty with that. And I do think the final, 10 minutes, I did enjoy it, but it was a lot of just close up with Christian Bale, because he was on drugs. I don't know if that really pushed the story forward because that part of the story is literally explaining everything that has occurred and what we are at now in 1933, and just focusing on Christian Bale, kind of doing a voiceover. I don't know if that was the right director slash writing choice to actually conclude the movie that way. But overall, I do think Amsterdam is a smart, cool, collective movie. It's a very soft R. I might be in the minority with this one, but my theater had about 10, 15 people, 8 o'clock at night. And I think a lot of people had a good time with this one. There was some good chuckles. I think people are leaving the theater going, yeah, it was a good murder mystery with very, very good acting. So, Amsterdam will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Futons, which equals at 70%. So, the critics and news scores gave this one. So, you have critics at 35% with 121 of them. Audience score is 60% with fewer than 50. Here's critic consensus. Amsterdam has a bunch of big stars and a very busy plot, all of which amounts to painfully less than the sum of the dazzling parts. I guess you could feel that way with how the story is told and the different editing style and the story choice. So, I'm not going to say the critic consensus is false, but I do think there are people going to go into this movie, see it's directed by David O. Russell, written by David O. Russell, and automatically give it a negative. You know that with a lot of Christian movies. You know that with a lot of directors. There are people that just don't know how to go in and be like, you know what, our Michael Bay, our movie that has a lot of American flags in it, or everything like that. So you're just like, you know what? Got to go with blank slate with every movie you literally go into. You just have to. So, 35, 60, 70. Chase out with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think is Booftopia. You Booftons, take one. Have a great day. Oh yeah, there's a weird French singing. That was another weird one where I was like, what does that have to do with this story? Like I said, it's not a perfect movie at all. There are, like I said, 15 minutes that can be cut. But I'm curious because I was supposed to be what was I supposed to see tonight? Terrifier? Yeah, it was supposed to be Terrifier 2, but digital code didn't work. Digital media sucks.